So, welcome. Great to have you here. And thank you for your attendance. Lovely to have you here. And happy Earth Day to everyone. Happy Earth Day. Hence the color. When I think about this day, Happy Earth Day, I have to remember the old Indian, one chief, in Native American it says, chief said, like, we didn't inherit our lands from our grandfathers. We borrow it, or we loan it.
Dun, dun.
We loan it from our own children. Are you familiar with this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. What do you think about it? Is that sustainability that he's talking about?
We are actually, yes it is. And to be honest, like we are maybe last 4 or 5 years talking about this all intensively, but it all exists more than 100 years ago. With all this social, I mean, like we call it now, we have acronym ESG, which is also 21 years old, so it's not that young, it's 2004. But altogether, like we are just now calling it, like, not say different name, but we have now more laws regarding that. But social, environmental governance, it existed, but different crises, especially in this government type, with all crises in the United States and in Italy, with Paramount, with 2 big companies had a huge crisis, and investors were not anymore, how to say, they couldn't see through financial statements that something is coming behind, that the company can be successful and can be bad to the workers or environment. That's the point when we started implemented ESG and start doing everything through ESG.
As you hold the mic, I have a follow-up question for you. We both come from Bosnia and Herzegovina, and just recently, Fondacija Mozaik launched a reuse chain platform. And can you just walk us through what is the aim, and is it something that is really needed for the region? I mean, obviously for Bosnia and Herzegovina, and for the region, especially as its name itself explains a lot. Reuse chain, and we're talking about that the 95% of waste still end up in the landfill. And what is the idea behind this platform?
Many of you know that Bosnia and Herzegovina is very small and extremely complex country, very fragmented, and we are not dealing with many of the problems, including waste, in a structural way. And because this is not common that NGO and the bank, Sparkasse Bank from Bosnia and Herzegovina, together, like Mozaik Foundation is developed the reuse chain.ba platform, and Sparkasse Bank supported, so it's not something that it's usual. We having in mind the situation in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and as you mentioned, that we recycle only up to 5%, and everything else ends up on landfill. We created first digital B2B platform for the companies, so that they have on their gadget industrial waste. So if something ends in the production cycle of the company as secondary raw material, they can sell it. Or if you need something which is secondary raw material of some company, you can purchase it. And this was like July last year was the launch, and we already have 130 companies registered, some 25 listings. So you can find there rubber, textile, wood, metal, like 10 categories. And what is also very good that some small businesses, if they want to make something, like, let's say I have here from Spain, the leather bag, which is made out of the small pieces of leftovers leather, they have a continuity. They know that on this platform, on the gadget, they can easily purchase pieces of leather. So it's like we're pushing circular economy in our country, having in mind that the country itself and the government, it's not doing much in that field.
In a way, you are trying to educate the market.
Yes, educate and also to reinforce, like to stimulate, to all together, like, because the main thing is like we don't miss ambitious, we miss execution. And the deliverables all the time in the morning, like even RCC director was telling, like, we need deliverables, we need some result.
This brings me to Ms. Belević. UNIQA has just launched a dedicated sustainable business solutions subsidiary for Southeast Europe region with a team of over 50 specialists offering everything from carbon footprint measuring to ESG reporting and climate risk assessment. What is the business case? What drives you to launch this project?
That's a good question. And first of all, good afternoon to everyone. I'm really happy that I'm at Adria Future Summit and that this time UNIQA is partnering this important event.
Good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
You're a major player. So
yes, thank you so much. It's a pleasure on us. Yeah, I can shortly answer to your question and say yes, we are ahead of the demand. And
please elaborate.
I will try. So if you look as a whole, the SE region, but not only, I would say globally, we can see that climate change and sustainability risk is increasing. And that we unfortunately are having much more frequent and severe extreme weather conditions like very severe storms, as we are calling them, supercell storm, floods, droughts, etc. And if you look just a few years back into our past, then we can see that specifically in SE region, we faced with a full concept and aspect of the climate risk. For example, in 2023, we faced with flooding in Serbia, where we affected with the floods over 56 cities across Serbia, which is huge, and causing a lot of troubles to the local communities. Then the same year, we had a supercell storm in Croatia, hit also Zagreb, and unfortunately, we are seeing that this is repeating again. 3 weeks ago, we had it again at the same place. Also, that year we had a very severe storm in Bulgaria, a Daniel storm, hit not only Bulgaria but also Greece. Again, after many days of severe rain, flooding happened at the coastal part of Bulgaria and causing a lot of infrastructural problems. Also, many traffic difficulties, but unfortunately loss of lives. So there are many consequences, unfortunately negative one. What is in common for all these events is that they are actually very speed and unpredictable. And we are seeing some kind of pattern that it's happening, that after heat waves we are having storms, that after droughts we are having floods. And unfortunately, what we had so rarely in the past, now we are seeing that is happening actually in one business planning cycle of the companies. So what we also seeing that the losses of which are coming from these extreme weather conditions are really high. In this period of 2020 to 2024 in the Europe, it had been of around 45 billion euro. And if you look only one specific event, huge one, this is Boris storm, it was around 20 billion euro. So really huge. And now I think that we should say that it's not only about environmental impact, it's about huge financial alarm. And for us, it's very important to focus on this topic. Of course, because we want to support the customers across the SE region, but not only, in every place where the footprint of UNIQA are, and even beyond that, in order that they can anticipate better future and prepare for the future. Those companies which will be able to actually use the climate data to anticipate and to have, I would say, predictive analytics and also real-time data, not only for reporting, but also for making proper strategic decision, investment decision, and also proper resilience planning. I think it will be a successful one. And based on all of this, we made this crucial decision to establish a separate entity. This is UNIQA Sustainable in Vienna, with many subsidiaries in other countries where UNIQA is present, and also in the SE region. I'm happy that some of my colleagues from UNIQA Sustainable are also here. And the goal is, as I mentioned, supporting companies, and for us it's also huge transformation, because we are moving from pure traditional risk carrier towards sustainability and climate partnership, meaning that we are trying to connect what is our core business, and this is for sure risk protection, with risk prevention and advisory in resilience and sustainability. So I would say huge task for all of us, from both sides, but I think this is now must.
Is there a demand? Is there a demand for this type of services or products that you are offering? You're mentioning floods, earthquakes, all the superstorms.
Yes.
Is there a demand in Adria region?
Yeah.
Or
well,
you have to educate the market?
Yeah, I can say that demand is developing, but I would say more precisely that need is here, obviously.
The need exists.
Yes.
Obviously, yes.
And the more we are talking about this, as we are now using also this opportunity through Adria Future Summit, I think the awareness will grow. Yes, I think that we are seeing across the SE region that still companies seeing this chapter as a somehow separate one. They are not putting this as an integrative part of their strategies, which is wrong. Also, what we are seeing is that many companies are lacking in respect of data and transparency, and that's why we are trying to support them with a specific solution in that regard. We are specifically seeing also that many SMEs companies are having huge challenges due to the lack of resources, and we established one separate solution for them, which we are calling voluntary standard for SMEs, which will enable them that in simple way prepare all necessary data in transparent way and show the progress to different stakeholders, whether we are talking about the suppliers, partners, or investors or banks. And apart from this, let's say, lack of integration within the strategy, I already mentioned the huge problem and challenges, awareness and readiness. So despite that we are seeing that the risk is here, that there are many different cases, as I mentioned already, with these extreme weather conditions, but not only, I would also emphasize supply chain problem or the cyber risk problem that we are seeing also now occurring more frequently. And unfortunately, what we are seeing nowadays, the geopolitical situation as well. So on one side, there is for sure, let's say, visibility of the risk, but on the other side, what we are seeing, companies are still do not assess those risks properly, and they are not evaluating them properly. But that's why we are here, and this is, of course, our job now to support them on their path, and I think that we are on a learning curve, let's say like that, and but we have to learn fast.
Absolutely. You mentioned extreme weather conditions. I believe among us here we have somebody who is watching the weather forecast every day.
Absolutely.
Ms. Durucsko, aviation is one of the harder sustainable stories to tell, right? So how do you navigate, on one side, the growth and the business, and on the other side, trying to be sustainable and very transparent and committed to the environment and your customers?
Thank you, and also thank you for the opportunity to be here. And yes, as representing aviation in this panel, it's a very challenging question, how to address sustainability. Can we at all address sustainability when talking about airlines? And I believe the answer is yes. So if we think about mobility as an essential need, mobility which provides connection, which enables economic development, which creates jobs, I believe it's intrinsically a fundamental need for people to travel, and this is what we provide. But then the question comes, how do we provide it? And this is where we need to be very mindful of what is the optimization that we can provide. So for example, Wizz Air has 261 aircraft, and around 75% of our fleet now consists of Airbus A321neo, or new technology aircraft, which has the lowest emission certified on the market currently. In fact, if you actually are traveling from Podgorica base, then you will fly with these aircraft, so you can welcome to test it out. And obviously with this one, it's not just the emission performance that we are very proud of, but also the efficiency that the aircraft can provide for us.
So it is a story about efficiency, not so much about educating the public. It's about efficiency and being more eco-friendly, so to speak.
Absolutely, but also about education. So actually,
who do you need to educate? You said once, transformation cannot be done alone by the aviation industry. Who do you need to involve, and what needs to be done in order to make aviation more sustainable or more eco-friendly, so to speak?
Absolutely. So in this sense, I believe it's a responsibility not just of the airlines, but also regulators, customers, governments. It's a unique perspective that we need to conquer. Decarbonization is a good way. It's a way we need to move forward to. And actually, on that note, we are celebrating the 1-year anniversary today of the Flying Towards Net Zero plan of Wizz Air. This is an aspirational roadmap where we actually mapped out that by 2050, how can we reach decarbonization? And why is it aspirational? Because it's actually a call for action for all the stakeholders, for all the policymakers, for all the customers, for all the regulators, to make sure that we have a common goal, and it's not just the airline's burden or the airline's responsibility to achieve this goal. So in fact, I also feel the need to comment on you as well, that I think it's great that you are raising awareness about waste management, and you are also encouraging the government to be more involved in this topic, because we need to, I believe it's intrinsically the same, that we need to act together as an economy.
We cannot wait anymore.
Yes.
Actually, we cannot wait anymore.
Great point. Your Highness, the Petrović Njegoš Foundation operates on the motto, small is beautiful. And you have long argued that small states like Montenegro are uniquely positioned to become laboratories for ecological transition rather than trying to compete on scale. In your view, is Montenegro actually living up to that identity, being ecological country? And what would it take for Montenegro to generally become the model you believe it can be?
Thank you so much, and I greet you, and I am happy to be with you in this panel. And unfortunately, your observation reflects the reality of Montenegro today. And this artificial growth based on tourism is the prevailing outlook. Montenegro risks losing its identity and its unique character as a result. No, I am not so naive. But despite my advanced age, I look more to the future, a desirable future, a future that no longer belongs to us, but belongs to our children, a future already embedded in our Constitution, a future capable of reconciling and calming our society. Allow me to quote an extract from the Declaration of the Ecological State adopted 35 years ago at the very start of the ex-Yugoslavian conflict. We recognize that all our differences are less important than the changes in the environment in which we live. That is why, as a citizen of Montenegro, a Democrat and European, I am so committed to this constitution that binds us. In his book, Small is Beautiful, A Society on a Human Scale, published in 1973, Ernst Friedrich Schumacher sets out the recipe for the ecological state, a book to read and to reread. Just one quote: nature always knows where and when to stop. Even greater than the mystery of natural growth is the mystery of the natural cessation of growth. It is this right path that our Constitution shows us, less easy, but safer and more sustainable than the motorway on which the large countries have already set out. That is why I believe that small countries have the opportunity to prove that this transition is possible, and that it brings a better quality of life. That is why, to mark the 35th anniversary of the Declaration of the Ecological State, I propose organizing a forum in Jablonec on 20 September, inviting several small countries that use implemented ecological projects, strategies, and practices, each in different sectors, which, when we brought together, could foreshadow that what an ecological state might look like. I also propose that we inaugurate a memorial on this occasion to commemorate the declaration of the first ecological state in Jablonec. Anyway, we have no choice. Ecological state is a challenge we set ourselves, a challenge more relevant than ever, a challenge in the tradition of the impossible challenges that Montenegro has already overcome in its history, and which are a source of its pride, a pride we owe to our ancestors, but above all, to our descendants. Kako Biljana je rekao, how Biljana is speak this morning, neka bude što biti ne može. Let what cannot happen happen, as our forefather, the great poet Njegoš wrote.
Krv nije voda. Thank you. You have some fans over here.
Yes.
Mr. Vujović, when we talk about sustainability, probably public broadcasters are not the one that come to your mind. But Radio Televizija Crne Gore recently launched 3-year strategy, and they said the digital first. They put the digital first in. And what does sustainability as a strategy actually mean for a public broadcaster?
Well, I cannot argue with what you have said. it really not comes first to mind with a public broadcaster to do some things like that. But also I would like to say, rather than just digital first, in 2024 we have formally introduced our ESG strategy, and also we have built our whole strategy across 2 pillars, let's call it that way. First pillar would be like infrastructure, and it's not just a paper on it's not just a letter on a paper. So we already do have installed 180 kilowatts of solar panels, like in few days to be 224 kilowatts of solar panels, which is one of the largest solar energy plant in Montenegro. Then we decided to go to a fully electric fleet. So at the moment we do have 12 electric vehicles, and with completely covered with all the charges and the whole infrastructure. So basically what we are doing is trying to achieve something that we are calling like a green loop. So the building is creating electrical energy from solar panels, then we put that energy into our vehicles, and that those vehicles does not put emissions of carbons to the air. So the infrastructure is there, so it's not just a strategy, it's already achieved. The second part, I would say, being public broadcaster, is a mandate to talk about these kind of topics. So I would recognize that we are probably a really good partner for everyone, so to speak, to make that voice even be louder and more clearer, how much important talking about sustainability and all these strategies. And RTCGs really try hard to live by those rules, not only make it in order to present itself as for marketing purposes rather than anything else. We have created a great achievement. For example, last year we reduced our CO2 emissions for 275 tons. We have reduced our fleet expenses for roughly 125,000 euros on yearly basis, and also our production of solar panels before expansion for last year was 225 kilowatt hours, so megawatt hours. So already there are some results to be there to show that the strategy is not just a strategy, it's there, and it's something that maybe others can also learn from us, but also having a mandate to talk about it is our mandate to talk about it even more.
In your strategy, what do you want to do next, apart from this infrastructure? And what else can you do? Can you speak more? Can you share the message?
We have to. I would say that should be even our obligation number one, rather than do the whole infrastructure. So we have to speak more. We have to show, and we'd like to have more, let's call it authority a little bit. If we have already done it in our place, then we have the authority to discuss the climate change and other hot topics, because we already felt what it's like to do something about it, and we understand the whole idea behind it. The other things, we are far from perfect because we need to report more. So ESG reporting is something that we need to do. And it's something that we recognize we need to push for in order to make it more accessible, and ideally to be at least a helping hand maybe to other public broadcasters in the region, or even to some EU public broadcaster, because for sure we know we are on the level when it comes to ESG with the likes of RAI or TV France or RTBF. So these are the top 3 tier in Europe. So we know we are there because we are discussing this on sustainability agenda on our European level. But I guess in Montenegro, basically, not many people knows about it. And we are a media organization, so there are gaps inside our companies. So there are still a lot of things to do, even in our company and externally.
Excellent. I don't know how, but we're draining the clock really, really fast. So I'll ask you, please, just to be short as possible so we can go for another round of questions. Ms. Belević, let's talk a little bit about the risk assessments tools. What are the most common gaps you find when you assess a company's ESG position in the region?
Yeah, first of all, you're absolutely right. It's very important to have proper solution
Yes.
for the customers in order to support them on this not so easy, I would say, journey. And when we start with our strategy, sustainability strategy on the group level in 2021, one of the main goals was how to integrate ESG standard into our core risk assessment, into the underwriting. And I like to say that we manage that. This is in use. And with this underwriting becoming responsible underwriting, meaning that every time when we are doing risk assessment, we are also taking care about environmental, social, and governance factors. And based on this, we are finally making the portfolio decision. On the other side, we are seeing that many companies are struggling with this topic, with implementation of ESG. There are many gaps. I already mentioned some of them, but what is important to remember is that data are very important, not only for this topic. I think this is a general topic and base for everything that we are doing now and with which we want to improve further on. So many companies are not measuring, for example, properly carbon footprint, the CO2 emission. I already mentioned they do not have proper structured ESG reporting. And to have example on that is the best example are SMEs, which are unfortunately missing this structured approach due to lack of resources. But again, we are preparing many solutions for them and trying to see how to simplify this journey for them. On the other side, we are talking about strategies and how to integrate this in their risk management and strategic planning. Unfortunately, this is also something which is in early phase, but slowly and steadily it will come step by step, I would say. And at the end, this is awareness topic. This is, I think, the biggest challenge. We are seeing that the awareness is developing, but still not at the level that it should be. And that's why it's important that we are talking about this, that we are spreading the information, the learnings about importance of the improvements and ESG implementation. And as I mentioned, such event and other events which are focusing on this topic for sure are supporting us in this matter.
Fondacija Mozaik works with international companies in Bosnia and Herzegovina. They work with Bosnia and Herzegovina companies. They launch startups. Do you see that all of them or most of them or who is having sustainability as a strategy?
Actually, we have like this two-speed economy. Like let's say we have companies that are obliged in accordance with Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive to report ESG, those ones that have headquarters in European Union, and the company, by being non-EU country, the majority of our companies are not obliged to do ESG reporting. On the other side, we had this omnibus in spring last year, let's say April, and even in the European Union, out of 50,000 companies that were obliged before omnibus to report, now it's 10,000. But in non-EU countries, Western Balkan countries, we are in supply chain under scope 3. Under scope 3, every company that has to report ESG has to report about their suppliers, like what is happening in this supply chain, and 70% of export is in Bosnia and Herzegovina. I know in Macedonia it's also to Germany. We are exporting to European Union. So directly, we are obliged to do reports in accordance with that. And that's why we focused with the reuse chain on waste, because waste is something that we are not looking on one side as a value, on the other side as energy. And now with these 130 companies that Mozaik Foundation, together with Sparkasse Bank from Bosnia and Herzegovina, we engage the companies and we are talking that in the waste, they have energy, educating them that in plastic, there is two kind of plastic, like in a PET, you have a gas, so you can use that by recycling PET, pyrolysis, you can use that and get gas in your company, or with the plastic, which is high density polyethylene, you can make diesel. So, I mean, it's very important to educate that waste could be energy and value. So that's why we are proud as a non-governmental company and organization and as a commercial bank that we did something which was actually our government job.
Thank you. Ms. Durucsko, what is the biggest challenge facing aviation industry right now? And what can you share with us? Something that nobody knows. From the industry. From the
industry. Connected to sustainability, I think it was a great description of the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. I think in general, the way and the agenda is clear. We need to decarbonize. However, how to achieve it? Reporting can be a way. Transparency gives confidence to our customers, to our investors, to regulators. So this is something that is here to stay. However, if it's too complex, if it's too resource intensive, and if it impacts the whole supply chain, then we lose the focus. We lose the focus of acting while we should have also moved forward with this one. So I think that's the biggest challenge, how to make sure that we remain transparent, we report our emissions and efficiencies, and while we are still aiming for the same goal.
What about the proper fuel?
With the current situation, I believe that's a question which has headlines everywhere. And just maybe a comment from the low cost or the ultra low cost or aviation perspective. In general, the aviation industry is very fragile. So in case of any disturbance in the supply chain, you can see now the upcoming media presentations about what will happen for the summer. It's very, it's unpredictable currently how the summer will look like. We still keep our program on. And with that said, I believe just we need to be mindful that in order to operate a well-connected Europe, including the West Balkans, we need to make sure that the supply chain stands stable, that we have the right partners, that we have the right, in this sense, fuel supply as well, to make sure that we maintain this connectivity.
Thank you. Mr. Vujović, what is the biggest sustainability challenge in the media industry? I doubt that people know that there are 5,000 to 10,000 satellites around the world operated by media industry.
Yes, but I would say that it's getting more and more intense, being everywhere at the same time. So like a mobility, producing, let's say, even an event like this, if you would like to do it properly in a like public service level, you have to bring a whole fleet of vehicles with like at least 30 or 40 people, etc. So this kind of events requires huge staffing and huge amount of energy being used and simply put to work. Sometimes main information even may be missed. So the biggest challenge would be still, I would put on educating side. Being public broadcaster, you have a mandate to actually educate the audience. That is not something that commercial media do have, or they don't have to do it. They can, but they do not have to do it. We do have to do it. So I think that we can achieve more if we educate more. It will be our bigger achievement than our electric fleet or solar panels or what we do. It gives us the credibility to know what we are talking about. But our main goal is to inform, educate, make people aware of what's happening and how important it is. There are so many misinformation out on the internet, especially younger audiences, fake news, and I would say companies that would like to at least steer a bit truth. So we should be there to make sure that the right information reaches the audiences. I would say that that's the biggest one for the public broadcast.
Please, in one sentence, considering the attention span of average viewer, interest of those viewers, and the fact that the people are less watching TV and more they're on social media, how optimistic are you about this education policy?
Well, honestly, I have to be, I do adore what I do. If I do not believe in it, I would not do it. So I'm sure there is a way. We have to be smarter about it. We have to find a better way to reach the younger audiences, the new ones that are, well, here to stay. And we are building the whole society and whole environment for them. So we need to find a way how to reach them. And hopefully, as His Highness was saying about the idea of ecological state, I hope that RTCG can play a small part as institution responsible enough to show that this is a direction which one company may go.
Thank you for those couple of sentences. Your Highness, there's often a large distance between high-level policy commitment and what actually happens in the communities. How do you see the foundation in helping and bridging that gap?
This one. Sorry, my English is very bad.
Yeah, very good.
This gap exists, and not only in Montenegro. Issues relating to these three areas you have mentioned are not seen by politicians as priorities, as they generally lie outside the realm of the economy and involve longer time frames that extend well beyond the political agenda. For the Foundation to be more effective in this context, it will need to be able to be called upon by our institution to identify issues and projects in these various fields. It will also be important to involve the private sector and NGOs. For it, it's by successfully carrying out projects together that we will be able to make progress in these various fields. For the time being, the Foundation wrote it limited to making proposals, which we do on a regular basis. I very much regret not having been able to convince the authorities that the technological innovation we proposed regarding zero carbon motorization, compressed air retrofits, and waste treatment via laser pyrogasification will not be implemented in Montenegro, which could have developed the industrial sector and create jobs. This is something we will certainly see developing in Europe in the coming years. But to answer your question, I am confident that this process of synergy will take hold, partly because the younger generation are more aware of environmental issues, and partly because both climate and geopolitical emergency compete us to protect this country we love, and love can achieve a great deal.
Excellent. Thank you. Any final thoughts? Yeah, sure. From the sky, I know.
Oh.
In one sentence.
I believe, again, just to reiterate, 1 year of the flying towards net zero plan, and I believe it's time to the industry to come together. So sustainability as a strategy is here, but we need to act together. We need to move towards this goal together.
Love that one. Nela?
Now, the biggest and most important, I would say, action is the integration of climate risk and sustainability risk into the core risk management and strategic planning and extension. Those companies which will be able to anticipate better future, who will be able to understand the risk and invest in prevention, will be the resilience one, will be for sure more insurable one, and ultimately competitive one.
Yeah, we would say better to prevent than to heal.
That's right.
Vilma, your final thought?
I will be short. I was short all the time. Change in mindset. It's the most important for the businesses. Instead of asking themselves how much it will cost to implement sustainability, to ask themselves what I will lose by not implementing it.
Okay, cool. And you want to say just...
Yes. For me, I propose the creation of inter-regional prize, which could be called Zeleno Kolo, and which will be the occasion of the biggest green festival in Europe.
Excellent.
Well done.
Great.
Well done. And my final thought, first, thank you all for your time, for your energy, for your insights. And if I would quote Njegoš, I would say that all these strategies, they are great, but it's not the shining armor, but a beating heart which wins the battle.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.